I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. One of our fun evenings of the year where we will get to tenure for all your relatives and friends that you're here for. But let's start with today is International Jazz Day. So we want to recognize Mr. Michael Blutman in our music department, who leads the high school jazz band, which has soared in popularity, which travels around the state to play some really swinging performances. Today, for you students, is also Honesty Day, which reminds us not to lie, cheat, or steal, and to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So we want to recognize Mr. Brian Cummings, our high school co-principal, who last year established the High School Academic Integrity Committee to remind students on the importance of this quality. You can clap. You can clap. And then finally, for our students, it's a very important day as it is National Bubble Tea Day, otherwise known as Boba Day. And our PTA units can attest to the fact that Jericho students cannot get enough boba, this sugary milk-based drink filled with tapioca pearls, which has been providing a boon to our fundraising efforts in the school. So thank you to whoever created boba. One quick item, next Thursday night, we have orientation for incoming kindergartners as we look forward to welcoming the next class of Jericho scholars and athletes. And now we will move on to the next class of superstar educators. So I would like to turn it over to Dr. Kravis to lead us in recognizing some people who have already made an impact on our district and who we hope will be here for a long time.
Thank you, Mr. Perlman. On day 303, my first tenure party, if you will, to celebrate a great achievement. Teaching is a skill, and it's an art, and it's a love, and it's a passion that everyone in this room who is an educator, I thank you for your hard work, because you spend time with the most precious thing in Jericho, which is the children. So without further ado, I invite Mr. Greg Sloan to start as we will go through the list, and each one will announce their person and their teacher or educator in their department.
I'd like to invite Jenna Delamore down to the stage. All right, it's truly my honor to recommend or to recognize Jenna Delamore for tenure as school counselor here in Jericho High School. From the moment Jenna joined our team, she has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to our students and families. Her work reflects thoughtful planning, a deep understanding of student needs, and an ability to anticipate support before it's even asked for. What stands out most is the way Jenna connects with people. Students and parents describe her as someone who listens, who advocates, and makes them feel supported during their most stressful moments. One parent shared, "Her commitment, empathy, and dedication go well beyond what is expected. She deserves to be recognized for the impact she makes every day." She helps shape the culture of our school in a way that ensures that students feel a true sense of belonging, reminding us that connection and care are just as important as any outcome. And perhaps most powerfully, a student shared, "Ms. Delamore always encouraged me to pursue my goals. Whether it was helping with course planning, calming my nerves, or just listening, her steady presence makes a difference in students' lives." On a personal note, Jen is one of the kindest, most genuine people with whom I've ever worked, and we are truly fortunate to have her as a tenured member of our counseling department, and I'm grateful for the impact that she has already had and that I know she will continue to have on her students and our community. Congratulations. I'm not sure I recall who is following me, but whoever's next, come on up.
Dr. Jana Astroff, please.
So words will always fall short of describing this larger-than-life human, but if everyone could help me call Andrew Logan up. What's on the internet?
Yeah.
So here is a tribute to you. So I asked all of your colleagues and some students to give me some quotes, and AI and I turned it into a poem, an ode, a tribute to Andrew Erlogan. A teacher tall in height and mind, with a spirit rare and uniquely kind. Through every vector, law, and line, your student-centered heart does shine. From Monday morning to weekend start, you lead with humor and you lead with heart. A superhuman drive is what his student said, that never ends, on whom our department's morale depends. A generous peer and a soul so kind, the finest colleague one can ever find. More than the physics that you teach, it's every single student that you reach. Congratulations on your tenure. We're so lucky you're here, bringing Jericho even more joy and brilliance each year.
Thanks so much. Dr. Eric Sundberg.
Would Marcy Kivo please come up? We typically receive hundreds of applications for secondary social studies positions, and even for dual certified social studies and special education roles. We have many strong candidates, so we can be selective. Many candidates can do the job as it's traditionally defined, but we look for something more, what we often call value added. So both social studies teachers that I'm introducing this evening have given us that. First, it's a pleasure to introduce Marcy Kivo. She brings a strong academic foundation with degrees from Penn State and New York University. She holds multiple certifications and came to Jericho with experience teaching both English language arts and social studies, which is a real asset in our middle school co-teaching model. Marcy creates an environment where rigorous historical thinking and independent reading and writing is accessible to all students. One thing that stands out is the way Marcy continues to invest in her own growth. She seeks out meaningful professional learning, applies that in ways that deepen her instruction and expand opportunities for her students. Last summer, she participated, for example, in a Facing History and Ourselves course on making the Holocaust and human rights relevant for today's students. Her work has been recognized beyond our district. The New York State School Boards Association, in their publication, recently highlighted Marcy's work in helping students engage in inquiry and connect the past to their own communities. As a fellow NYU grad, I will risk saying that she brings a cool signature style. Despite what you see, Marcy tends to wear black. Her aesthetic is intentional and confident and just a little bit edge, which I think reflects the conviction she brings to her classroom. I should also note her tenacity. We first interviewed Marcy in 2009 when she worked for us as a permanent substitute teacher. She reached the demo stage then. She went back to school, got her special education certificate. We kept in touch, and when we hired her back 3 years ago, she's even more prepared, and that persistence defines her work with her students as well. Among many contributions, Marcy has coached National History Day students to the national level, serves as a Milken Foundation Artifact Ambassador. Taken together, these contributions reflect a teacher who is deeply engaged in her profession, fully committed to her students. Marcy does not simply fit into Jericho, she helps make Jericho better and cooler. We're fortunate to have you, and congratulations. Really glad you're here. Do you mind? Thank you.
Thank you.
Watch your step. Now, could Alexa Corbin please come up? Like Marcy, Alexa is a dual certified teacher, and she has made a significant impact at the high school. Alexa works closely with English language learners, skillfully balancing social studies content with language development. She advocates for her students and consistently communicates with their families. She can teach anyone, but her superpower is encouraging, engaging, and holding to account those students who might not always feel comfortable in the high stakes, high stress environment of Jericho High School. No one can be truly successful if they don't believe in themselves. And Alexa believes in her students and helps them see their own potential often before they can see it themselves. She developed our Project Citizen course, re-engaging seniors who might not see the relevance of social studies through authentic civic learning. In that course, she is also piloting the New York State Seal of Civic Readiness, helping define what meaningful civic preparation looks like, and helping Jericho prepare for coming changes in New York State graduation requirements. Under Alexa's leadership, our mock trial team, for the first time, won the Nassau County Championship. She's the junior class advisor. And is bringing back the junior banquet. Good luck with that. She collaborates with colleagues, contributes as an athletic coach, strengthens the high school culture in a dozen ways, including creating and managing the annual student-teacher tennis tournament. These contributions reflect a teacher who is likely to continue growing and contributing, and that's what we want. There's no harder job than teaching your five. But we want teachers like Ms. Kivo and Ms. Corbin who go well beyond that long after they have tenure. So congratulations. Not bad, huh?
It's Joanna Kletter.
Joanna already has tenure, but please join me. And Stephanie, can you please join us too?
How about that transition? That was a good one, right? So we are very excited for Stephanie to be up here with us today. And Dr. Sundberg and I were just speaking this week, and we said, well, what should we highlight about Stephanie when we think of her tenure appointment? And immediately for Dr. Sundberg, he thought about how as soon as she came to Jericho, she hit the ground running. She brought all of the district initiatives forward, while at the same time really supporting all of her colleagues and making them feel that they could have their needs met in the library. We talked about her vibrant learning space, her tech savvy, and the way she champions diversity through the very books that she displays. That's what came to mind, especially for Dr. Sundberg. For me, I remembered her Nancy Drew Halloween costume. It was so good. It was a spot on Nancy Drew costume. And it made me think of a quote by Gloria Steinman that said, I was rescued by librarians. It was librarians who said to me, why not read the Hardy Boys on top of Nancy Drew? Gloria Steinman said, it's true for me as it is for others that librarians saved my life. So I asked her colleagues and her students, or I shouldn't say I asked them, they actually asked their students, but I asked her colleagues to help me out and share something about Stephanie. So one teacher shared that her student, Matthew, always felt lost and behind in his class when reading. He only read graphic novels and never understood what his teacher meant when she said, make a movie in your mind. That all changed when Mrs. King became our librarian. She recommended the book Because of Mr. Turrup, and Matthew fell in love with reading and gave Mrs. King all the credit. Now, he happened to also give a quote. He said, the journey, this is his words, the journey of finding the right book may be hard, but you can always count on the best librarian ever, Mrs. King. Now, it goes further. William said, you are a librarian of a lifetime. This said by a 10-year-old. I mean, unbelievable. Zara declared that thank you for making projects and assignments that are fun for us all. And Laura proclaimed, you make library amazing. There are so many stories just waiting to be heard. So it may sound like hyperbole to say a librarian saves lives, but when you interact with Mrs. King, the sentiments ring true. I would say Dr. Sundberg and I strongly agree, have tremendous pride and joy in recommending you for tenure. Congratulations, Stephanie.
That was so beautiful.
So glad you're here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Are we taking pictures? Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's us.
Miss Helene Kriegstein.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it is truly a privilege to stand here tonight and recognize a teacher who is truly a rock star, Lakshmi Zawistowski. Now, it was 3 years ago, Memorial Day weekend, that I had a Zoom conversation with Miss Zawistowski. And this was before she formally applied to Jericho. And we had a conversation about standards-based learning, understanding by design, how to make mathematics meaningful and relevant to students, all of the things you would normally talk about in a casual conversation. And I remember ending that conversation thinking, I have to have this person on our team. Now, at the time, Ms. Zawistowski was already tenured in another district, and to make that move really is taking a professional risk, and one that we are so incredibly fortunate that she did. Since joining us, Ms. Zawistowski has made an extraordinary impact. A New York State master teacher, she brings a deep content knowledge, plus a zest for learning and her own continuous growth. She is a collaborative force. She co-advises middle school math counts. She has co-presented at a middle level conference. She has just presented to the middle school faculty last week, co-presented, and she's also presented an in-service course. Basically, she always says yes to any new challenge, and she doesn't just say yes, but she says it with enthusiasm and confidence and conviction. But beyond the accolades, what truly sets Ms. Zawistowski apart is her spirit. She elevates everybody around her. She is thoughtful, innovative, and relentlessly focused on what is best for students. So she's not just an outstanding teacher, she's a tremendous value to our district, our colleagues, and most importantly, our students. So Lakshmi, congratulations. And just to be clear, we're so glad you took this risk to come to Jericho, but don't get any ideas. You're not going wandering off anyplace else unless it's to Disney World. But we are not entertaining any of that. So we're in this for the long haul. Congratulations.
Dr. Lionel Chan.
Good evening. I'd like to invite Erica Contreras to join me here. So good evening. Ms. Contreras has taught various levels of Spanish for us, and she has successfully applied flipped learning in her classroom. With respect to her classroom, she actually has implemented a very organized system where students use technology purposefully. She's applied, in addition to flipped learning, good writing skills for our students. And in terms of her professional responsibilities, Ms. Contreras has served as our co-advisor for the Spanish Honor Society Club for the past 3 years. She's also somebody who organizes field trips for her students. And we thank Ms. Contreras for her hard work and her dedication to Jericho schools. Felicidades. I'd like to invite Marion Hubbard. So Ms. Hubbard has joined us 3 years ago, and she is also somebody who creates a very productive classroom environment. Her do now assignments are always some of the strongest that we've seen for our students, and she also applies flipped learning in her classroom. She also creates a classroom environment that is very orderly and in which students use technology purposefully. Ms. Egan is Ms. Hubbard is known for her using her mnemonic devices for helping students learn various aspects of the Spanish language. She is the other co-advisor for the Spanish Honor Society Club for the past 3 years, and we thank her for her service to our students and to our Spanish program and to Jericho schools. Felicidades. Felicidades. I'd like to invite Shuying Han. So Ms. Han joined us 3 years ago as well, and she's somebody who has taught all levels of Chinese at Jericho High School, from levels 2 through AP. In her classroom, students actually discuss many complex issues and practice their Chinese language through these discussions. Ms. Han is also somebody who runs a very orderly and efficient classroom. She uses technology purposefully. And one of the highlights about her classroom is that she has a Mandarin challenge where students are incentivized and practice their target language throughout the year. So Ms. Han is also has also served for the past 3 years as co-advisor to the Chinese Honor Society Club at Jericho High School. She's also organized the Dumpling Festival for the past 2 years for Chinese New Year. And we thank Ms. Han for her hard work with our students and for her dedication to Jericho schools. You're welcome. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce David Alfano.
Good evening, everyone. Can I ask Dr. Allison Brush to come up here? This is actually perfect. She's going to support me during this speech. Over the past 4 years, Dr. Brush has been a dedicated and compassionate member of our community school. She's consistently supporting students and parents and staffs with professionalism and care, always keeping student well-being at the center of her work. Whether she's guiding students through challenges related to cyberbullying and safety, or helping them build confidence and resilience, her impact is both meaningful and lasting. Dr. Brush is also a trusted resource for families. She has provided professional development for parents, helping them better understand the support of their children during the middle school years. In meetings, she brings a calm, reassuring presence, which I'm trying to take advantage now. She has a unique ability to take complex technical information and explain it in clear, simple terms, ensuring that everyone feels informed and included. She is thoughtful in her approach and always takes time to answer every question, making sure no concerns go unheard. Dr. Brush is truly becoming an integral part of the Jericho community. She is a valued partner to teachers and staff and a strong advocate for students and parents. Her congratulations, Dr. Brush, for your tenure. We love you. Thank you. Next up, can I have Miss Nicole McLaughlin? It is a long walk. Should have stood closer. Nicole McLaughlin is a valued member of a very close and supportive speech team. We are truly excited to celebrate this moment with her. Over the past 4 years, she has made a meaningful impact on our middle school students through her dedication, creativity, and care. She has special ability to make every lesson fun and engaging, helping students feel motivated, confident as they learn. Nicole is thoughtful and thorough with her work. She conducts evaluations with great attention to detail and presents clearly and effectively in every meeting, ensuring that everyone understands individual student needs. She consistently meets students at their levels, designing personalized lessons, making learning both accessible and enjoyable. I've been part of those. Most importantly, her students truly appreciate her. They see her as a fun, supportive, and somebody who listens. She creates a safe space where students can feel comfortable, take risks, and try their best. Nicole McLaughlin is a wonderful addition to the Jericho Middle School community. Her passion, professionalism, and connection with students have her highly deserving of this moment. Congratulations, Ms. McLaughlin, on your tenure. We're going to go to Dr. Kravitz.
And that is all of our staff members getting tenure. One more round of applause for everyone.
Congratulations to all those receiving tenure, all your family members, all your friends, and all your fellow teachers and administrators who decided to come celebrate with you tonight. As everyone knows, there's a big, huge honking cake outside. I was going to do the resolution. As soon as we grant you tenure, effective those dates, we invite you all to then depart. But we'd love for you to stay, certainly to hear our students present some stuff, hear about our science thing. But before we get to that, I'd like the board, whereas, I need a motion, whereas in accordance with the provision of Section 3012 of the Education Laws, last amended by Chapter 7035, as amended by Chapter 736 of the Laws of 1974, the following named teacher has been approved for a probationary period as provided by said section of law, and whereas said probationary period will have expired on the date indicated, and whereas in accordance with the provisions of said Section 3012 of Education Law, at the expiration of the probationary period, the superintendent of schools shall make a recommendation for appointment on tenure of those persons who have been found competent, efficient, and satisfactory. And whereas the superintendent, having found the following to be competent, efficient, and satisfactory, now recommends that they be appointed on tenure. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following are hereby appointed on tenure in the areas and on the dates indicated. I will simply very quickly read the names, but not the dates. Allison Brush, Erica Contreras, Alexa Corbin, Jenna Delamore, Andrew Erlagan, Miss Hahn, Marion Hubbard, Stephanie King, Marcy Kivo, Nicole McLaughlin, Raja Lakshmi Zawatowski. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mrs. Citron. Do I have a second? Mr. Jin. All in favor? 5-0. Once again, congratulations. No one's leaving. This is outstanding. This is exciting. So, there's plenty of cake. You can stay. There'll be cake when you leave. Okay, now we can get down to the real business. I would like to invite up Karina Jin of the 6th grade for the middle school update. Or did Karina? Oh, Karina is here. I thought she ran out to get cake. Hey, Karina.
Good evening and welcome to the April 30th, 2026 Board of Education meeting. My name is Karina Jin.
Miss Jin, just wait. Let them circle out and close the door so we can hear you properly. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Kornblum. What? Is she here? I had no idea. I'm sorry, Miss Jin. Now we can all have, please start again. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the April 30th, 2026 Board of Education meeting. My name is Karina Jin and I'm a 6th grade student council representative. It is my pleasure to be here this evening. I would like to update you on what's happening in the middle school. This month, we have entered the final quarter for the 2025 to 2026 school year, if you can believe it. I wouldn't lie to you, especially since the monthly SEL theme is honesty. Honesty is fairness and straightforwardness of conduct. The New York State English Language Arts Assessment was administered to all students last week on Tuesday, April 21st and Wednesday, April 22nd. Thank you, Dr. Salzman, Mr. Gleason, Ms. Balut, and all of our English teachers for your hard work and dedication. On Tuesday, May 5th and Wednesday, May 6th, middle school students in Math 8 will take the computer-based New York State math assessments. Students enrolled in Grade 8 Science will have a science assessment on Tuesday, May 12, 2026. The report cards for the third marking period was posted online Tuesday, April 22nd. If you have any questions, please contact your guidance counselor. On Wednesday, April 15th, the peer leadership groups hosted our annual Cupcake Wars. What a fun, sugar-filled day. Our theme, the Cupcake Chronicles. Tell us about your favorite book. The proceeds will be going to the YOLO Foundation. A big thank you to Mrs. Breland for organizing this great day, and thank you to Dr. Brush and the counseling staff who assisted with this tasty, treat-filled day. If you have ever felt insecure or stressed in school, you are not alone. That is one message students heard loud and clear this past Tuesday, April 28th, as students enjoyed an assembly with motivational speaker Jordan Toma, who is also an author of the award-winning book, I'm Just a Kid with an IEP. He shared his personal experiences with ADHD and learning differences, offering an empowering message about resilience and self-advocacy. Thank you to SEPTA for sponsoring this great experience. On April 23rd, the Community Service Club and Student Council hosted a bake sale in memory of Melissa Xenakis. Proceeds are for the Nate and Hank Family Fund. Have you ever wanted to run up the 72 steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art Rocky style? Well, our 7th graders had that opportunity as our 7th grade classes has been visiting Philadelphia most recently. How exciting! Independence Hall, Liberty Bell, and the Constitution Center are some of the highlights of this trip. Jericho Middle School historians were quite successful at New York History Day last weekend in Onatonia. Jericho dominated at the state level. We have 10 moving forward students to the national level June 13th at the University of Maryland. On a final note, the 8th grade math research class attended the Long Island Math Fair on Friday, April 24th, which was held at the Hofstra University. The students presented research on topics of their choice. All of our students earned a medal. So proud of all the hard work that went into their accomplishments. And a big congratulations to all the tenure recipients this evening. We're lucky to have you as part of our Jericho family. Well, that's over now. Have a great evening.
Thank you to clearly the most eloquent Jin. We are now love to welcome out Mr. Dev Lakhani and Miss Emma Zhu for our high school update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Emma Zhu, Student Council Co-President.
And I'm Dev Lakhani, other Student Council Co-President, and we're excited to share what's been happening this April.
Starting with the arts, congratulations to Grace Zhang in 9th grade and Emily Chen in 12th grade, who have been chosen to represent Jericho in the 2026 Heckscher Museum's Long Island's Best Young Art Exhibit. That's a long name. Grace also took 3rd place in the Congressional Art Competition.
In music, the high school orchestras kicked off the spring concert with a thrilling night of music, featuring selections by Soon Hee Newbold, who worked with us back in March. The Tri-M Jazz Combo and String Quartet also added their special touch with performances at the Alumni Hall of Fame ceremony.
The music department's Hershey Park trip was a home run and definitely more fun than whatever I was doing that week. Our band, orchestra, and chorus all performed beautifully and had lots of fun. And in Jericho's first, the chorus sang the national anthem at a Harrisburg Senators baseball game. Benji Schaaf even threw out the first pitch, and yes, it was a strike.
Mr. Blutman and the high school jazz band had a very impressive spring jazz night this month and also performed at the Muttontown Club for the Jericho Cares event.
From the World Languages Department, students in Miss Siriani's Italian's class went outdoors this month for a competitive game of bocce. It's an Italian game somewhat similar to bowling and is most popular in northwest Italy, in regions like Piedmont and Liguria. With the warmer weather upon us, students got to explore this fun aspect of Italian culture firsthand.
From the math department, on April 16th, the Jericho chess team cinched the Nassau County Chess Championship for the 12th consecutive year. The next day, the 50 best mathletes in Nassau County competed at the New York State Mathematics League competition, and 22 of those 50 students were Jericho High School mathletes. The Nassau team came in second place in the state of New York. Congratulations to our mathletes and their advisors, Dr. DeMarinis and Dr. Mara.
On April 24th, Miss Badalian brought her research students to the Long Island Math Fair at Hofstra University, where they took home 32 medals. Also this month, 4 Jericho High School students participated in a day-long hackathon at the Center of Excellence in Wireless and Information Technology at Stony Brook University and won first place. And our high school coding club has reached the senior and intermediate division finals of the American Computer Science League. Thank you to Miss Diskin for advising our coders.
From the English department, the senior Arna Tiagi was named a winner in the first annual New York State of Poetry contest. Arna was invited to recite her poem at the Guggenheim Museum in New York City on April 18th, and her work was published in the 2026 New York State Anthology and is now on display in the high school library.
Sophomore Eliana Jiao has also been selected as the first place grand champion in the 40th annual student poetry contest from the Walt Whitman Birthplace Association. Congratulations to Eliana and her English teacher, Miss Brown.
Moving on to science and technology, you'll be hearing later tonight from our Explore Vision regional finalist team, who recently won second place nationally and is headed to Washington, D.C. in June.
Last weekend, our research program presented 25 projects at the WAC Lightning Invitational. Jericho students placed first and second in computer science, third in biochemistry, chemistry, and earth and environmental science, with honorable mentions in biochemistry, medicine, and health and engineering.
The Mott $1 Million Challenge also announced its winners, with Jericho earning 3 national semifinalist teams. On Tuesday, our 10th grade students presented at the South Asian Women's Alliance, and this morning, Jericho hosted a NICEF competition.
Yesterday, our technology teachers, Mr. Pagliari, Mr. Curcio, Mr. Cooper, and Mr. Herbert, along with student volunteers, hosted SEPTA Robotics Night, where students built, coded, tested, and troubleshot their own robots. Cool Beans even baked robot-themed brownie pops for everyone afterwards. Thank you to Desiree and the PPS office and the incredible SEPTA board for making this event possible.
A big congratulations also to Michael Moskalev, who was honored with the Amazon Future Engineers Award.
And last but not least, from athletics, as the spring season enters its final weeks, our team continues to compete at the highest level. A special spotlight on our girls varsity lacrosse team, who has battling for a top spot in their conference.
In an incredible one-week stretch, senior Avery Danzig reached her 100th career point and quickly followed it up with her 100th career goal. On the boys' side, senior Max Spector recorded his 100th career point, and in that same game, junior goalie Jonathan Perlman tallied his 300th career save,
succeeding his father, of course. On the track, senior Kador Hassani etched his name into the Jericho record book by breaking the school record in the 110-meter high hurdles with a time of 15.3 seconds, surpassing the previous mark of 15.5 set by Charles Kruger in 2023.
We're incredibly proud of all our student athletes, and we look forward to celebrating our spring seniors across all programs in the weeks to come. Go Jayhawks!
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'm not just saying that. Thank you. Next, we have our PTA update. Joint Council PTA update. Oh, Mr. Manuel, thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Kravitz, members of the Board of Education, Central Administration, faculty, staff, and community members. My name is Aileen Gingold. Never gets old, right? And I am the president of the Jericho Joint PTA Council, and it is my pleasure to be here with you this evening. This month, the Joint PTA Council had the pleasure of hosting Mr. Brett Kornblum, Curriculum Associate for Health, Physical Education, and Athletics. Mr. Kornblum provided an update on participation numbers across our athletic programs as well as team highlights from the year. We also had a meaningful discussion about the increased availability of AED machines for our teams, an important enhancement that we greatly appreciate. Looking ahead, we are excited about the launch of a new and improved athletic website and registration portal next year. We thank Mr. Kornblum for a fantastic first year in Jericho and look forward to continuing our strong partnership. On Tuesday, April 13th, we hosted our second Parent University Program of the year. Held over Zoom, the event featured a panel of recent Jericho alumni who shared their college experiences with our parent and student community. Once again, our alumni truly impressed, making the evening a tremendous success. More than 100 attendees joined to hear insights from our students. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to Mr. Greg Sloan, organizing and hosting such a meaningful program. The transition to college can feel overwhelming, but hearing firsthand from our accomplished alumni who are thriving beyond Jericho offers reassurance and inspiration. We are proud of all they have achieved and look forward to following their continued success. All of our units were busy this month. The Caniac PTA recently hosted a magic show featuring Eric Wilzig as a give-back event in the place of their traditional spring fling dance. They are looking forward to their spring book fair on April 29th and 30th. In addition, the PTA raised over $2,000 through the Duct Tape Sapienza fundraiser in support of Haley's Heart. Upcoming events include Career Day on May 13th and Staff Appreciation Week from May 4th to May 11th. The Jeffrey Ratner Robert Seaman PTA recently sponsored a presentation by the Long Island Coalition Against Bullying for students across all grades. The program focused on helping students recognize the various forms of bullying and equipping them with safe, assertive strategies to respond. In April, the PTA also hosted its first family school dance, which was a tremendous success and brought the community together for a fun and memorable evening. Looking ahead, Staff Appreciation Week will take place from May 4th to May 8th, and the school community is excited to celebrate and recognize the dedication of its outstanding faculty and staff. The Jackson PTA had another incredible turnout for its annual multicultural night on March 27th. Continuing their efforts to recognize and appreciate staff, the PTA provided lunch on April 27th in honor of Administrative Professionals Day. On April 28th, they also distributed individual boxed cupcakes to all bus drivers in celebration of School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, showing gratitude for the dedication and care each day. Finally, tickets for the May 6th Family Day at Adventureland are currently on sale. The middle school PTSA hosted a successful meeting with guest speakers Dr. Ostroff, Ms. Creekstein, and Mr. Sloan regarding math and science regents and transcripts. They also ran successful snack sales for the general PTSA and 8th grade. Their upcoming May meeting will include Mr. Kornblum. The high school PTSA wants to congratulate all of the seniors on the commitment day on Friday. They will be hosting their last bake sale of the year to celebrate everyone's decisions. In addition, the PTSA is finalizing preparations for their support of the first ever junior banquet by providing a soda bar as requested based on student feedback. After membership approval, they are planning a special ice cream treat for the entire student body to celebrate all their hard work. Finally, the high school and Caniac will be joining together to run a gently used backpack donation drive at the end of the year. SEPTA kicked off All Abilities Month with its second annual movie night featuring a screening of Tyson's Run, an inspiring film about an autistic character who perseveres to achieve his dream of running a marathon. The evening included refreshments and raffles, creating a fun and a meaningful community event. In addition, SEPTA hosted a highly successful robotics program with more than 65 attendees this month. Proceeds from All Abilities Month events will support NSSA, Nassau Suffolk Services for Autism. Donations will be accepted through May 8th, with collection boxes available in each school building. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Mrs. Gingold, and you are looking fetching this evening. And Dr. Sundberg would be the expert here. Today's press is lazy and misguided and doesn't put any work. So all of you over the past week to 2 weeks who have seen these ridiculous stories trying to attribute a scandal with a PTA school out in Suffolk County, which unfortunately for us is named Jericho Elementary School, but has absolutely nothing to do with us. It was unfortunately picked up by one news source, and then it just turned into others. I want to thank Miss Maggie Rose Melito and Dr. Kravitz for working over the past week to try to play whack-a-mole when someone would put this story up with a picture of Cantiac Elementary or the high school, or say ridiculous, oh, we tried to reach out to the Jericho Union Free School District, which they clearly didn't. So for anyone who still had any questions, despite the hard works of Ms. Melito and Dr. Kravitz, that has nothing to do with us. It is a school out in Suffolk. It's a horrible situation, but our PTA is extremely buttoned up in all respects, including the way they manage their finances. So I just wanted to say that before we moved on. And now, should we do the presentation first? We'll do the presentation. And now, the Jericho Board of Education is proud to present an inside look at our often imitated but never duplicated award-winning high school science research program. For that, it is my pleasure to introduce our Curriculum Associate for Science and Technology, killing it in her first exciting debut year here in Jericho, Dr. Jana with 2 N's, Ostroff.
Thank you. That was quite the introduction. So thank you so much. Thank you to the Board of Education. Thank you, Dr. Kravitz and Central Office and the community for having us come up and talk about the secret sauce that makes us a hotbed for science research here in Jericho. So as you all probably personally know, a lot of the people in the room have been involved in some way, shape, or form in science research. In so many ways, it consumes a lot of our support and our attention. So excellence in science research requires this shared vision and this real community sense of value and support. And it starts with our students. Our students work intensely. What they are required to do and the work level and the intensity of what they're doing together is only matched by their collaboration and their spirit and their ability to lift each other up when they need it most and their ability to give each other feedback. And so I think that this kind of very special environment and I guess the secret sauce really comes in the community that's built around it. And I attribute that a lot to the teachers, the 3 teachers that are going to be coming up here and helping me present to you along with the students and the work that they do, because it is by design that this community is built. And it's a community of excellence, and it's this brilliant synergy between these brilliant minds that sit here today. So Samantha Sforza builds the 10th grade programs, and she has a background in emergency medicine and toxicology, and she brings with her a passion for real hands-on science research. And our 10th graders get to build their skills, and they build their expertise. They also build their habits of mind and their dispositions for being science researchers, because it's hard and it's intense and it requires perseverance. Lorraine Casuli is our brilliant, masterful veteran, and she provides this deep and vast knowledge set. So when students come in and have these technically diverse projects, she's able to give this targeted feedback that really uplifts and helps students really fine-tune and tweak both their data analysis as well as their understanding of the topics. And then Alexis Vandergoot, who is our fearless lead research teacher. She is also a New York State math teacher, and she has a lot of experience in research, and she's a leader in the community. People turn to her with questions. They turn to her for support. She actually leads different communities around research, and not just serving on the boards. People call her. They ask her to come for panel discussions on what it takes to build a research community like she has. And what she's done is she's created this hotbed of innovation and creativity, because students aren't just working on one project. She's also brought in a diverse set of opportunities for students to work on that have them kind of juggling different experiences, whether it's fun, environmental challenges, coding challenges, AI challenges that they're able to do individually or in teams. And this has also uplifted the program tremendously. And with that, she brings a joy and a celebratory environment that is just contagious. And so it makes research not only just really intense and really competitive, but also really fun. So our 3-year pipeline starts in 10th grade where they build the foundation. 11th grade, they're kind of like executing it, and you're going to hear a little bit more in detail about that. And then in 12th grade, a lot of their time is spent fine tuning, doing a lot of tweaking of their experimental methodology, their data, their analysis, their posters, and they're presenting a lot, and they're getting tremendous feedback on that and improving those presentations and publications. None of this would exist without you all and the community that surrounds it. So just today, we hosted a huge science symposium in our field house. So thank you to Brett and his team, because on a rainy day, they gave up the field house. And we really leaned on our security. We leaned on buildings and grounds. We leaned our custodial support. And we have this huge team of teachers also within our department. So a lot of the judges came from our department. They came to judge as well, and they came to support. It's a huge family. Whenever we're in this process, we have math teachers serving on different committees. And every single time a student wins an award or has a novel idea, we have a novel purchase to make, or a novel, microbe that we need to buy. And so we really lean on our clerical support. We lean on our business office, and it's a whole team. And when there's more work because of this, instead of looking at it as a negative, it's something we all take great pride in. And so that idea that it's shared is something that's really special and unique. We share in the excitement, and we share. And so when this additional work is added, it's met with graciousness, and it's met with positivity. And we keep calling, and the response is always yes. How can we support student learning? So to talk a little bit more about the specifics of each grade level and to hear our wonderful students present, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Samantha Sforza.
Thank you. So I'm going to start by talking about our 10th grade research program and how it fits into the 3-year arc that students take. One of the most important areas that we spend time on early in the year is helping students to figure out areas that they are passionate about. They explore different fields, they read current research, and it's that sense of direction that really sets the foundation for everything that follows in the rest of the year and in the program. From there, we start to build the transferable skills that they'll need to really turn their interest into meaningful work. Students learn how to read and make sense of scientific literature, not just to understand it, but to question it and learn from it. They work with data, analyzing it, communicating, identifying patterns, and this ability to interpret data is a transferable skill that they'll use in any field that they go into, even if they don't become scientists in the future. This year, all of our 10th graders and last year competed in the American Statistical Association data visualization poster competitions. We're very proud of their hard work. At the same time, we focus heavily on communication. Students learn how to write their ideas, present information clearly to professionals in their field, and they have opportunities to share their work in authentic settings. This was the first year that every single 10th grade researcher was able to present at a competition, which is an incredible feat. And on Tuesday of this week, we went to SAWA 10. By the end of sophomore year, students are not just learning about research, they're starting to step into it. So most of our students have begun to connect with mentors and are preparing to work in labs over the summer, and others start to venture off into developing independent, often computational projects, with some returning in the fall to carry out wet bench research. So 10th grade is really about setting the stage for success and teaching them the skills that they need to be successful in 11th and 12th grade.
Championships this week, tomorrow. Championships this week, tomorrow.
I'm going to introduce our...
Yeah, so yeah. Championships this week, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. It's in St. Louis.
Is there a reading? No, I got it.
Yeah, so yeah, we're definitely interested, especially in engineering.
Perfect. So we're going to introduce our HydroWind AI team. So this is not the ExploraVision team. Some of the students are also on our national winning ExploraVision team as well.
So it's easy to confuse because there's so much happening, but this is a different project, a different competition, and beautiful work that was done here. Yep.
All right. Hello, everyone. So I'm Jay. We have Rayanch here, Ryan, Ian, and we're sophomores here in the Jericho Science Research Program.
So our project is HydroWind AI, and it focuses on a geospatial analysis of offshore wind farms, and it utilizes a novel machine learning model that we created throughout the entire year.
And so as you can see, we developed a model of a wind turbine. And so it utilizes a novel design, especially with the use of linear actuators. So actually our entire windmill can actually go up and down. This way it can actually optimize how much wind the wind turbine can get.
And speaking more about what Rayon said, we developed a machine learning model that essentially finds the best points along the coast of the United States to place our novel windmill. And we then put this ML model into an application that we published on the App Store for companies and stakeholders to utilize in their studies.
So we are grateful for the science research program for allowing us to participate in so many different competitions throughout this entire year. And we couldn't have done it without them, especially the amount of money and resources that they poured into helping support our entire project.
Yeah, so even for this project, we've been to about 3 competitions with this. We've received, $1,000 from our own winnings and support from the department. So like this and all of our other projects are definitely not possible without our support and funding here at the Jericho Science Research Program. So we're incredibly grateful for that. And really just touching on how important the program is. I remember when I was a freshman walking into that Jericho Science Research room for the first time, I needed Miss Vandergood to print one of these posters on one of her amazing poster printer machines. And she was like, sure. And then, a little bit later, she looked at me and she was like, you're taking Jericho Science Research next year, right? And I was like, no, I'm taking band actually. And she stared at me for a good few seconds and then sat me down. And I think I missed like half of the next period. And she convinced me over and over again. And I have to say that thank you so much for that, because this is definitely one of the best decisions I've made this year. And on behalf of us and the rest of the department, thank you guys so much for all the support.
Funny. Thank you. I just want to point out here that this project completely student driven. They developed their own algorithm. They found their data sets. They 3D printed all of these materials themselves. They engineered it. They wired it. And it is such a start to finish homegrown project that in 10th grade, start in the research program. This is just one of the many things that in 10th grade, yes, they're learning the skills, but we also try to get them into these competitions where they're able to execute these things within 10th grade before they start their own individual project. Thank you so much, gentlemen. So my name is Alexis Vandergood. It's very nice to meet you. If we haven't met before, I am the lead research teacher, and this is
Lorianne Chasuli.
And we have to stand here together and really, we co-teach 11 and 12. We're always 2 bodies in the room. So we do want to talk to you about what goes on there. And even 10th grade is even a co-taught program where there are 2 teachers in the room who can support all the diverse projects that are going on. After students finish in 10th grade, they identify a topic they're interested in. And this is where things get very interesting because every student has a different project and a different topic and a different idea and a different mentor, which means the diversification and the differentiation that goes on in that classroom, because every kid is on a different pathway. That is the beauty of 11th grade. They all, yep.
As Alexis would say, there's a lot of punches thrown, so you got to roll with the punches. That's what we do.
That is exactly what happens. So every student, if you talk to the students who are in 11th grade, we operate on cycles. Every 2 weeks, the students get a personalized assignment that is delivered into their Google Drive, and they work on something individual, tailored, and it is taught like a special education classroom where you have small group pullout, where maybe the whole class is learning something one day. The next day we have, Lorianne will take a group of students who need to learn how to, present a funnel, we call it, where you are, presenting an idea. I might take a different small group of students to do a poster lesson. And the amount of support that we can give students when we're co-taught is there's no other program that operates like this. And we're very thankful for the amount of support that we got and the ability to co-teach, because there's no other This is incredible.
I never experienced anything like it in my 31 years. Yeah.
And I've been
very
in other
special.
districts. It's very special what goes on here. And like I said, I'm very thankful and grateful. We wanted to ask Walter to come up and give us a little explanation. So that is actually when we talk about the different, competitions they can enter. But on the other side is the different research pathways that we talk about and the diversification and who has different assignments. We asked Walter to come up because Walter is one of our ISEF finalists this year. He's traveling to Phoenix, Arizona. He is one of 5 students from Jericho High School who is traveling to Phoenix, Arizona. And one of our junior students, he wants to just take a minute and explain his experience with Jericho Science Research and his projects before he goes to Arizona. So, Walter, it's all you.
Hi, my name is Walter. So my project is titled Printing the Future of Flight, Additive Manufacturing of Carbon Fiber and Carbon Nanotube to Hybrid Reinforced Polyether EDK composites using selective laser sintering. And essentially for my project, I developed a novel 3D printed material that is extremely lightweight and strong, and is also biocompatible, thermally resistant, and chemically resistant. And it's one of the strongest 3D printed material on the market, and it's also similar price to existing materials. And so using this material, it can be used to reduce weight on airplanes, rockets, cars, and different applications. And so I want to thank all my 3 teachers for their support.
Tell us about your experience.
Okay, so my project started back in Cyrus 10, which is what Ms. Sforza taught us. So what inspired me to do this project is because I always liked airplanes since I was a kid, and I also always wanted to work something related to airplanes, and that's what brought me to come up with this project. And I think the amazing part of this program is everybody's working on different research. We have people working on cancers, we have people working on allergies, and and computer science, and I think that's the best part of this program. Thank you.
All right. So by the time students leave 11th grade, we are gearing up for Regeneron STS season. So senior year is the year where you are allowed to submit to Regeneron STS, and you have to be a senior. You have to have completed independent work. And our goal, that what we call the Rising Senior Summer, Regeneron opens our application on June 3rd. So it's happening very soon. It's coming. Prepare yourself. So on June 3rd, they open that application, and we work with the students over that summer so that they are not only taking their project to the next level, adding as many different layers as possible. We start, sophomore year, maybe very basic. Like Walter said, he started in 10th grade. Junior year, he's adding a new layer. You're going to hear from Ariana very soon, who had multiple layers. And our goal in that, rising senior summer going into 12th grade is to help them prepare the most competitive project and the most competitive application. So that's, STS season that is submitted in early November. And I'm sure you've seen all the success that we had, the amount of work that goes into that. It is sometimes referred to as the Junior Nobel Prize. Yes.
It's a beastly application. It is, like you said, it opens in June, and we have to start right away.
And it also, I feel like, puts the college application to shame. It is a very, very intensive process. And Ariana, you can explain a little bit about that process, what went on, your senior project, but that is what is happening during senior year. During that time, we really have all of these projects that are reaching completion. We're looking to publish. We're looking to, get these students into symposium. We're looking to find places for them to share the research, because at that point, why wouldn't we? We have publications in journals. We have students presenting at international symposium. We had Henry Zing, who was invited, was it Latvia, to present his research. We try to bring our students everywhere to share their love for what they've done. So Ariana, it's all you. Come on down. Vedant was also supposed to join us, but last minute he was not able to. He is another one of our seniors. Ariana and Vedant are both going to the International Science and Engineering Fair this year as well in Phoenix.
So, hi, my name is Ariana Ador, and I'm a current senior at Jericho High School. And I started Jericho Science Research in 10th grade. And my project revolves around restoring the gut lining integrity in food allergies. And I look at a dual therapeutic mechanism to fully restore gut barrier lining in the condition. So, like Walter said, I also started developing my research in 10th grade with Miss Sforza. And I developed all those research basics and learned to kind of see myself as a scientist and see myself going forward as someone in the research field in 11th and 12th grade. And moving on into 11th grade, I decided to hone in onto my food allergy interests. I actually have food allergies myself, so it is very personal to me. So I ended up taking that further into 11th grade and went into a lab the summer between my 10th and 11th grade, and I conducted wet lab research in Boston. And I developed my junior project on that mechanism, and I looked at one therapeutic pathway for my junior project, and I went to composition through it. And then in my senior project, between the summers of 11th and 12th grade, I actually continued to deeper that same topic and look at a secondary therapeutic pathway that could also contribute to gut lining integrity damage. So in my senior year, I, again, like you and Ms. Forza and Ms. Chisuli said, I went to prepare for the Regeneron STS submission. And I think this is where I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of the community that comes with being in the science research program. So throughout my 3 years a part of this program, I wouldn't consider Jericho Science Research as just a program. It's more so a community. It's a community of teachers. It's a community of students. It's a community of admin that all look to help and nurture students to not only become scientists in the future, but also help them grow as individuals as well. So I feel like one big night that really stood out to me was STS submission night. And again, STS is a culmination of more than 2 years of work for some students. And it honestly, it entails creating a research paper. It entails this intensive application with so many different parts to it, so many different aspects to write. And it takes so much effort and dedication and rounds of peer review and regular review with teachers to fully analyze and submit your final work. And on STS submission night in the beginning of November, all the senior students gather in the science research room to finally submit that big application. And one thing that stood out to me was that Gut and all of these three mentioned that we all had to stay until 8 p.m. that night, until every single person in the program pressed submit. And I feel like that is such the sparkle and magic that comes with being in the science research program and that collaborative energy that it brings and being with these teachers and the rest of the students.
To add on that, I think Ms. Chisuli said it best, that the rising tide lifts all boats. And on submission night, we do not leave until the last person submits. We stay to support each other. And, you know, we had 10 Regeneron finalists, scholars this year. And I will say that our first submitter was Vedant, and he's up here right now. And Vedant submitted. Our last submitter, also a top 300 scholar. But I will tell you right now that if it was not for Vedant, that last student who submitted would not have made it, because Vedant was there packaging his PDFs, renaming them, exporting them, compressing them. And it shows you just the power of the community that goes on here. It's not a cutthroat program. There's so much joy and celebration of each other's success. And I'm so proud and honored to be part of this. So thank you, and thank all of you, because this is such a special place.
So I just summarized some of our highest awards. And when you look at this level of achievement, you can definitely say that Jericho Schools is a hotbed for engineering in this country. And it's these are nationally acclaimed awards that are rare to see. And it's a very special thing to even experience it regardless. And it's the learning of the science, and it's the focus on the science and creating the scientists here in Jericho that really creates a special program. So next up, in the ways we're kind of looking to improve and extend the program, we're very explicitly targeting 11th graders to work on more specific AI and data set based work with technology, so that they can analyze their data more effectively, as well as work on visualizations and look at those things in order to uplift their work in their projects. We're also needing to meet an increased demand based on the increased population of students by increasing the allocation of FTEs for the program. And that just, I think I wrote down the last part. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, the most important part. On June 1st, we cannot express to you the amazing work that each and every student has done in this program. But the symposium, which is on June 1st at 6 p.m., all of our students will be honored, and all of the awards that they've won and all of the experiences that they've had will be given the honor and space that they truly deserve. And so please join us here June 1st at 6 p.m. So thank you all for being sharing in this work and being visionaries for what our kids are capable of here in Jericho schools. And so thank you, and a big happy birthday to Lorianne today. So thank you so much for allowing us to share this great work with you.
Thank you very much to all of our administrators, faculty, and of course the students who helped contribute to that presentation. Oh, we have to do, yes, superintendent's report.
Just a very short report. Just as far as enrollment goes, we have now 3,183 students, as opposed to last year we had 3,324. And for a public service announcement, I will ask for anyone who is listening out there. We did get contacted recently by our neighbors on Cedar Swamp Road. If you are a student and you are parking on Cedar Swamp Road, please remember to read the signs. Do not park where it says do not park. These neighbors of ours, when we try to be hospitable to everyone, are concerned that you are blocking their views when they exit their driveways. So please take note. Thank you.
And you might get a ticket.
We want to be like the residents of Buffalo and be good neighbors. So let's do it. And go Bills. I'm just joking. Bills lose, Jets win. Anyway, yes, we're going off topic, Miss. Please, it's been an hour. Everybody, come on, get it all out. We got another 40 minutes to go. Get it all out now. Opportunity for the public. Should
Wait,
there be any to be
last I
heard?
checked, Knicks are up by 53 points in the third quarter.
Aren't you glad you're here, Mr. Chekla, as opposed to that sounds like a boring game? Opportunity for the public to be heard. If you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, please approach the microphone. Tell us your name and if you're representing a specific group, your affiliation. If you'd like your statement to be included in our board minutes, you must hand a written copy of your remarks to our district clerk, Victor Manuel, before leaving tonight. As always, public discussion on matters relating to staff and students during which their reputation, privacy, or right to due process, or those of others could in some way be violated is prohibited. Everyone seems to be sitting. We are going to close opportunity for the public to be heard, though we'd love to hear from you. Moving to our agenda, approval of minutes. Sorry. Be resolved, the Board of Education make any necessary corrections and move the approval of the minutes of the regular meetings dated March 26th, April 16th, and April 22nd, and the BOCES budget meeting on April 28th. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Varno. Second. Thank you, Mr. Jin. All in favor? Thank you. Be resolved, the Board of Education approves tabling the second reading of the following policies: Series 1000, Series 2000, Series 3000, except for Policy 3421, which is the Title IX policy, the Series 4000, as well as the Series 5000. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Ms. Vartnev. Thank you for the second, Mr. Jin. All in favor of tabling all those policies for this night? Thank you. That was wrong. That's why what's on the agenda is wrong.
No, but there's 6,000 ones we're not tabling.
We're doing those.
Oh, that's all.
I said, just so we're clear, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, except for 3421, 4,000, and 5,000. What's on the agenda is incorrect. We have that. Everybody clear? Everybody's following. What's funny? Did I do something funny? Am I funny? Do I entertain you? Do I amuse? New business. Recommended motion. Be it resolved the Board of Education accept the first reading of the following policies. Policy 6,110 through policy 6,570 plus policy 3421. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Jin. Second. Thank you, Dr. Balachandra. We are open for discussion. As anyone might recall, we did most of the 6,000 policies a couple of weeks ago. I think it was when Ms. Vega was with us. We do need to go back and revisit 6121, 6180, 6410, 6550, and 3421. As board members know, we have in front of us a revised draft of 3421, which is Title IX and sex discrimination policy, as well as policy 6121, which is our sexual harassment policy. Yes, we love it so nice. We did it twice. So this, Ms. Vega, represents Ingerman Smith's best efforts at making two policies that don't conflict, cover all the necessary things, and full of all the necessary legalese, disclaimers, and everything else that we need. There were a couple of things in here in bold with brackets around them, like the first page of the Title IX policy. Are those decisions that we need to make? Okay, so nothing to do. Excellent. Microphone.
What number is that? What number is that?
Is the Title IX.
Thank you.
So for 3421, the Title IX policy, the current structure of the grievance policy is that there will be an investigator, a decision maker who is the superintendent, and the appeal would be the board. There are different ways to structure that. You could have an assistant principal be the investigator, the building principal be the decision maker, and then the superintendent be the appeal. So it's really, that is something that you could ultimately decide, however, whatever works best for the district.
Does management have a recommendation or preference? What is general, what would you, if you pulled all your clients, what's the majority do?
Probably what's currently here, which is
Dem-
the superintendent, and then it goes to the board.
Does it say superintendent or designee? Like the
Um,
other policies?
No,
do?
it would be the superintendent.
You have that training? Do we need to get that training?
If you're part of the process, then yes.
So the board would need to get the training?
Yes.
So can someone make arrangements for us to get that? Perfect. Anything else about this that we need to be aware of, Ms. Vega? We've all read it, and as you said, it's your best, or Ingerman's best efforts at best practices.
Yes.
I have a couple little things.
Go ahead.
Just the style doesn't conform to the rest. Like it says school district instead of district. I know we said we would talk about that stuff later, but no, it's just like that's when I guess between Dave and Steve when they
We can make it all conform with the
to, like,
same.
just- and also like where it says on school grounds, school activities, like in other policies talk about all the places where the policy exists. So should that be consistent with the other policies? Like this applies when you're on a trip, when you're, I don't know, I'm trying to find where the language
So
is. but-
this would apply for any program, any school grounds.
Right, so that shows up in other policies too, that concept of,
Okay, I can take a look at the others and just utilize that same language in terms of the applicability.
and then are we going this line by line or should I have something at
whatever
the
you
end?
have, go,
Okay,
go.
so and then for the remedies, I forgot, for volunteers, it says you might lose your ability to volunteer, but I wonder if we would say lose your denial of future access.
Are you in the Title IX or the sexual harassment?
Sexual harassment. Let me find the page. Sorry, I didn't write down what page my comment was on. I'll find it in a sec.
She's doing sexual harassment. Oh, there is a page. Post remedial action, is that what it was, Mr. Trump?
Well, like different people had different
Okay, penalties
remedies.
may range from a warning up to and including loss of volunteer assignment.
Yeah. So then it says for other people, it says loss of future access to the grounds. I mean, maybe for volunteers, they should have that same. Oh yeah, what page is that? That's page. You're right, page 12. It says other individuals' penalty may range from a warning up to and including denial of future access to school property. So for volunteers, it just says up to loss of volunteer assignment. If someone's doing the stuff, I mean, we might not want them on property.
So you're proposing adding to that as well, including denial of future access to school property?
Page 12. For here, it says other individuals.
It's page 12, right before where it says false complaints. Other individuals. Above it. Did you have others?
Nope.
No. Mr. Jin, Ms. Vartanoff, Dr. Balachander. Good. Let's move on to 6180, staff-student relations. I know some people, we were just making sure, Ms. Vega, you went back and just confirmed there's nothing we could do stronger here, correct? This is sort of as good as it gets. Take your time.
So we did talk about coming up with language regarding what that definition means, the frequent personal communications.
Right.
And perhaps drafting a carve out for anything that has to do with student health, well-being. So I did draft some language and I can circulate this as well.
You want to just read it to us? It sounds
sure.
like you got it thought out. Ms. Vartanoff, I think this was one of your sticking points, so let us know if it sounds good to you.
Just the yellow part. I wouldn't do that to you.
This is no laughing matter.
So the language I came up with would be that frequent personal communications with a student unrelated to coursework or official school matters means any form in which personal communication may occur, including but not limited to voice or text-based communication via phone, email, instant messaging, text messaging, or through social networking websites. This definition does not include communications that are reasonably necessary and appropriate to support a student's health, safety, or well-being, provided that such communications are consistent with the employee's professional role and responsibilities.
Dr. B? Good? Anyone?
I like that.
Everyone's good? We're good with it. Thank you very much, Ms. Vega. 60, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just on the 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th paragraph, it says any student who believes he or she has been subject to inappropriate staff behavior, as well as students, school employees, or third parties who have knowledge or witnessed possible occurrence, must report the incident. How is that enforceable? Like a third party? I guess the only people you could really enforce that on is school employees, right? Like, is there a how do we tell a third party they must report the incident?
Well, I mean, any student employee, you're requiring them to report that to someone to make sure that, I mean, it does.
It makes sense, but I just don't know how it works, how it would work.
I mean, ultimately in practice, if you were to determine that someone knew about something and didn't report it, it would be if it was a student, it would be subject to discipline under that or.
No, I think she
that
gets the
policy.
students and the employees. She's just where the third parties, like, I guess are we just putting it in here even though we have no real
Right,
recourse?
it would be a violation of your policy, but in terms of recourse, if it is a third party.
What you gonna do?
And students could be disciplined for not reporting under this because it says must.
You want to change it to should?
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know what's the right way to.
I don't think if a student's got enough issues going on that if they think they know something to say you must report it, we're going to punish them. We're not going to punish. I mean, they're just not reasonably. They're not going to be punished.
Are expected to.
At least gives us an out. Yeah. Sure, we'll go with that. It's only the first read.
So the employees must, but students and third parties are expected to.
I think the school employees should be a must, as you say,
Right.
Mrs. Citron. Okay, are we good? We are moving to 6410. This was the staff accessible use policy. And I believe in here we had 6410. And this was, we had a bunch of confusion over what staff can do and can't do and what they can use and can't use. And we wanted to make it so that they could do what they needed to do, but wouldn't be doing what we don't want them doing during school hours. And quite frankly, my memory is failing me right now, but who is doing the next step on this?
They were going to remove this, the MySpace and all that other Vine or whatever it is.
You know, that stuff was the little stuff, but I thought we had an issue here about, I apologize, just I had it in my head 3 days ago and it's lost.
From my notes, it says there was a concern regarding Instagram and if a teacher creates a page, who owns it, who maintains it, and to remove the MySpace as well.
Thank you. Your notes are doing better than my memory tonight. Dr. Kravitz, what's your view on this?
Any district Instagram page we should have access to. Or if you want to create in that policy, somehow making sure that it's either reviewed by a designee so that there's always oversight of what's being posted.
But I have a question. The question is how do you force the teacher to hand over ownership in case of their departure from the district? So, correct. So
if it was
if it's
a
in the
district-
policy,
yeah.
then no matter what, they have to comply. What if they don't comply? Then what? What's the recourse?
Well, if either the district has access to it, then the district can make the determination if there is a termination or a separation to remove the page completely.
No, but what if they want to keep the page? The page has historical value for the school. And that
If it's in the policy that anything created with the district's resources or
Yes.
in the name of the district.
Yes, it would have to
belongs
be
to, or has
handed over
oversight.
to the districts, to district ownership before the departure of that individual from the school. If they were to be terminated or they resigned or retired or whatever it may be.
I mean, in the context of how is this something that occurs currently that some teachers have?
Yes.
Instagram pages?
Yes,
Okay.
or other social media or so. Right, so it's usually an Instagram page is usually created with using a personal email. And then they use it with, under the guise of Jericho School / whatever it is / Miss Vega's, fourth grade class or whatever it is.
So you can require that any social media page that's created for the district or a particular class or club
Be used-
affiliated with the district's email
Email.
address for that
So that would be a good solution. So it couldn't be created with their personal email. It would have to be used
And you would have
district email.
access to it in the
Is
event.
there any blocks from a technology standpoint that a district email can be used for Instagram? Like anything with a firewall that would prevent that? No, we're good. So you could use any email. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think that would be a good solution. Not, you know, if you needed to grab it for any reason in policy. Yeah.
We are as efficient as a science researcher. Final one for this evening, 6550. Blood donations, which for anyone who doesn't know, I believe Ms. Schmidt is not here, but I believe it's May 20th this year. The Jericho Blood Drive. Mr. Kirby will be leading us off promptly at 8 a.m. I expect everyone else to be there. I will not be there till the afternoon. But 6550, I think we just had an issue of, it's a leaves of absence policy, but the second page bottom has the blood donations, and we had to figure out what we were doing here. Did our superintendent come up with a recommendation?
6550, the section on blood donation.
Oh, yeah. It's at the bottom of page 2. The issue is which, no, it's we have to choose one.
Oh.
It's simply we have to say, what do we want to do? Because just here, it's like, it's just potluck and people get away with whatever. People do various things. I think we just were saying, what do we want to do? And no one knew. And as a lawyer, Ms. Vega said, whatever you want to do is fine with me. And there was really no recommendation because the language was fine.
Or you could leave both options here, and then it could be on a case-by-case basis. You could make that determination.
Sounds good. Not that important. That's good. Everyone's going to be there May 20th. That's when they're giving their blood. They just need half an hour. Go downstairs. Again, unless you're Mr. Kirby, who needs an hour for platelets. Thank you, Mr. Kirby. You are a great American. That is it. So with that, can we get a vote on accepting policy 6110 through? Well, no, we're accepting the first read.
Oh, I thought we tabled all. Oh,
We did. No.
and then we tabled.
Yes. So I need a vote then on accepting policy 6110 through 6570 plus policy 3421. All in favor? As amended. Mr. Emanuel, we are good there. We shall now move on to schedules. Can I get a motion for the board to accept scheduled business affair little I-1 treasurer's report through? Doesn't have a number, but it's superintendent's 1 office designation of textbook.
And pull out. We already did the tenure one, so we have to pull that.
Without, well, we could always do it again. We love them so much. Pulling out, I believe it's Schedule J, tenure of the 11 employees that we mentioned earlier. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Vartanoff. Second. Thank you, Mr. Jin. Any discussion? The J, the tenure one that we already did earlier. Can you just briefly, oh, sorry, when you're done with your notes? Just quickly explain the Textbook Central contract. I know it takes 3 sentences.
So we use Textbook Central to organize for all of the private schools that participate in Textbook Central an efficient way to get the textbooks to the private school students in the schools that participate in the Textbook Central program, which is many of them, and it does provide efficiency on the district side where we don't have to search for books and purchase them on our own.
Thank you. And the insurance claim, that is, we are getting $91,000 for the.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And who knows who's best to give 3 sentences on our EMT course? It seems here we've gotten through the hard work of State Representative Jake Blumenkrantz, $20,000 to the district for some EMT equipment, which is going to be used in our new EMT course, according to our package. What is this equipment, and is this course starting in the fall? Who is teaching this course? I know we've talked about it briefly in the past. Do we know yet? Sorry, two sections, and who's teaching it? Samantha Sforza. Perfect. Thank you very much, State Representative Blumenkrantz, for arranging that money for us. Two more questions. Insurance, Mr. Manuel. Here we talk about pupil benefits in Gerber Life for student accident insurance and catastrophic. The lower price on the catastrophic, it said must write base with CAT, so it wasn't a real second bid. What who writes the CAT? So we would have to do Gerber doing both the wait. It
No,
said
pupil benefits provides the that other than catastrophic provides all of the student accident insurance, student accident with athletics or anything like that. And the premiums did go up pretty significantly because we did have a lot of claims.
right, but with the CAT, why couldn't we take the lower bidder? It said your note in there said must write base with CAT.
Must write base. Oh, so they were tied together, the catastrophic and the pupil benefits. You had to take them as a package.
Got it. And they're okay. Sorry, I did have two more. In there, I know this is in there all the time, the regular substitute leave replacement, leave of absence, a process for filling those positions. I see a bunch of them are filled on a usual occasion by former teachers here who've either retired or left. Is there a formal process that we go through with interviews and stuff, or is it more, who are you pointing to? Oh, sorry.
Mr. Cohen.
Sorry about that. Every hiring process has a formality, so there would be interviews. So for leave replacements, we would post it. We would see the applicant pool. Based on that applicant pool, if there is a retiree that can serve a certain function and they rise to the top of that application process, then they're the ones selected.
Typically have a lot of people applying for those, or those are
Leave
depends.
replacements can often be very difficult to fill. They're mid-year. They're sometimes in highly technical areas. The ability to find a licensed science teacher in the middle of the school year is often very difficult. And then when you further complicate it with a certain aspect of science, someone in for a bio leave needs to be licensed in bio. Sometimes we also have someone who needs to have dual certification for special education. So sometimes a retiree provides the perfect solution to fill that.
And so all those leave replacements, we have to advertise those in a regular sort of opening?
Have to versus good practice to may be different. We post, we post, and we've typically been posting in OLAS, which is
No, that's fine. So forget about have to. We post all those positions somewhere before
Correct.
we fill them. That's the question. Last thing, if anyone sees Dr. Kravitz has a book sitting next to him, The Say, I Say, which is being added for AP seminar. And unfortunately, Dr. Hartnett, our superstar, not that the others are bad, our superstar English seminar teacher, my question for him is, this seems like an outstanding book for critical thinking and writing. Why have we not been using it up until now? A little. I read the reviews. The Say, I Say. They say, I say. It's, it doesn't matter. Everybody seems to love it. Great for critical thinking, great for writing, great for making arguments. So we should have had it a long time ago. Anyway, that being said, perhaps he will join us. He is off at a conference somewhere, getting even better than he already is. We look forward to seeing all of you at next week's May 7th meeting. It seems like we're together every week, and we really appreciate seeing you. After which we'll have a 4-day break, and we'll see you again on May 11th for more policy, which we probably won't see you for. Anything from... Thank you so much. All in favor of approving 61, I'm sorry, schedules, shit. The schedules we talked about, schedule business affairs, little I1, treasurer's report through superintendent's office, designee of textbook, all in favor. 5-0. Thank you very much. Any members have anything to add before? Yes, excuse me. As all business on the agenda for tonight's meeting is complete, do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Mrs. Citron, for the second. Yeah, we need to do it. Do I have a motion to go into executive session, discuss a personnel matter? Thank you, Mrs. Martinoff. Second. Thank you, Mrs. Citron. We will be returning here to close out the meeting. We will not be discussing anything in public. We will not be taking any votes. As long as Ms. Vega says we can close it in the other room. No action will be taken. We will close it out when we open the door to the boardroom and the executive offices. You are please wait. There is still cake outside. There's probably cookies in the office if you really want to wait. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you on the 11th. Do I have a vote? All in favor of going to executive? 5-0. Thank you.